Joining us now, former Secretary of State Mike Pompeo is with us. You went to West Point. You graduated one or two in your class. I don't remember. I forget. Forgive me. I still love you. But you're also an attorney, and some people might not know that. So add that to your list of incredible credentials and Secretary of State. I'd love to get your thoughts generally on, number one, the report. Do you take it seriously? Does it seem legitimate to you? And what it would mean if, in fact, this were the final decision?
Well, Sean, I've read about the first two-thirds of it now. It reads like a writing of a first draft from someone who believes deeply in the United States Constitution in the very way that I know Justice Alito does. So I'm going to give you short odds that it's likely his writing from a first draft. Doesn't mean that's how it ends. Second, a decision that reflected largely what is in that draft would be a glorious thing for the United States of America. It would, in the first instance, be a return to constitutional judging, right? We have a series of justices returning to our foundational roots, wiping off the books something that even liberal justices understood made no real sense. They had to defend it because of their own views on abortion. But this is a good piece of judging, a good piece of constitutional work if it ends the way that this draft appears to be heading. Second, the states will get to sort this out. That's the right place for this to be sorted out. But I am also optimistic that when these rights are returned to people all across America, that we will save lives of the unborn all across this country. And that would make a decision along the lines of what's in this potential draft a really glorious thing for the United States. Good constitutional law and protecting unborn children. A really good outcome, Sean.
Okay, and the thing is, it would go back to the states. I doubt very much, Mr. Secretary, that New York, California, Oregon, Washington State, Illinois are going to change the law in any way, shape, manner, or form. I mean, we now have states. Remember the infamous comments of Governor Northam. Well, first the baby will be born, and then we'll give the baby care, and then we'll let the mother talk to the doctor, and then they decide whether the baby lives or dies. At that point, that's called infanticide.
Oh, that's certainly true, Sean. There'll be states that have already put themselves in the business of doing precisely what Governor Northam described. They're not likely to change in the short run. I'm convinced over time, when people all across America have the opportunity to see the good that can come from changing that maybe not New York, maybe not California, but a state that's now got Governor Youngkin, a state like Virginia, and some of the states that are much closer calls. Overall, I think this will have a really net positive effect on America's capacity, not only to have our right to privacy defined in the right way, but also protect more children.
How do you respond to Professor Dershowitz's theory? And he said it's only a theory, that this was leaked on purpose to instigate a packing of the court, which we know the left in this country wants to do badly.
I think it's a really well thought out theory. I was a student of Professor Dershowitz a handful of years ago. I learned at his feet, and we didn't always agree on everything, certainly politically, but it almost certainly seems like this was a decision by someone inside that court to undermine the integrity of that court with an effort to substantively change how justices made their decision. I think that will fail. But there's no doubt that was likely the intent of the person who leaked this, if in fact there was a leak from this court. I hope that Justice Roberts gets his hands on the individual or individuals who worked on this and makes it very clear that this is unacceptable and they pay a real price.
The times have changed, certainly in Washington. The issue of privacy, interestingly, I would argue doesn't exist in America, especially for conservatives. Mr. Secretary, always good to have you. Thank you for being with us.